Hi guys, it's Katie Inks, and today's video is finally the much anticipated Halloween decorate with me video. Yay, I finally did it. I know this video was supposed to go out last week, however I hit a lot of snags trying to get everything together to film this. My big thing was I wanted to get maybe just a few small pieces to add to my current Halloween decor. And yeah, just like, you know, every year you just kind of want to add just a little bit. You don't want to go too crazy, but you want to add a little bit. And all the places I went to had nothing. Everything was picked over. It was so frustrating. I did go to Target a lot earlier in the season. I went back in end of August, early September, and they hadn't put out their stuff in the seasonal aisle. They had only put out the like $1, $3, like that kind of grab bag area in the front, and there wasn't anything in there that was like super exciting or anything I really had to have, so I ended up not getting anything from Target. And then I started my hunt again last week thinking, okay, you know, I've seen some of the stuff online for a bit, I should have a good chance of finding something. I went to Michael's and I went to Dollar Tree. Everything was picked over. Michael's, it was ridiculous. They had already changed the seasonal section to Christmas. They had like 3 aisles of Halloween decorations, but everything was picked over. Everything that was like the newer collections or any like wall hangings, gone. Everything was just, it was just so sad. I couldn't find anything. Like I ended up just like, when I was at Michael's, I had to get art supplies, so I mainly went there for art supplies, but I wanted to see if there was any like Halloween decorations and stuff, and if there's anything I could grab, I was gonna get it, but there was like nothing. And then I had also gone to Dollar Tree and Spirit Halloween. So at Dollar Tree, I went to 2 locations. One, there's a bigger one that's closer to where I live, and I was thinking that one would have a lot more than expected, because not a lot of people know about that store. It's one of the newer ones. It's nicer, but I didn't think, you know, it would get picked over, and there was nothing there. There was maybe only the candy aisle, and I ended up, while I was there, just grabbing a base wreath, which you'll see a little bit later when we make a wreath in this video. So there will be a DIY, and there'll be a very quick DIY in there too. But yeah, that Dollar Tree had nothing. I went to one the week before, and that one, like I go to that one. It's been a while since I've been to that one, but that one had a few things, a few decorations. They were already putting out their Christmas stuff, which is normal. Dollar Tree like puts out their Christmas stuff. I mean, if they could, like, I think they start putting that out in like end of September, to be honest. But they still had like a few things, so I was able to get one Halloween sign, and I did get a few candles that had like fall smells and just like cool little holographic candle holders, but it wasn't like Halloween related. The sign was, and yeah, I mean, I just didn't find anything new, and I was really trying to find something new, because I knew I wanted to add like couple extra wall hangings, a little bit more gauzy stuff. But everything you do see in this video, I've had it for years. I do have like 2 big bins full of Halloween decorations, and you know, there's just been ones that I've been collecting over the years. A lot of times I used to keep them out all the time. Now I'm like, okay, I'm growing up a little bit, so let me just keep the good like year-round spooky stuff out, and then the rest can just be for seasonal stuff. But yeah, I mean, everything was with what I had already owned, and I had like done a couple DIYs, so that, I guess that's my way of getting a little bit of new decor. And where I live now, it's a different layout than my old apartment that I lived in, so kind of rearranging and not having everything in the same places, it has been kind of cool. Like in my old place, I used to have more shelves and a little bit more surface areas, like if we had a fireplace, so I had a mantle that I could decorate, but I don't have a mantle here, and I don't have built-in shelves anymore, so that kind of was a interesting challenge, but really made me like kind of pick through all the decor that I had and not just put everything in the kitchen sink out there, you know. So that was a fun challenge, and yeah, like I put up more of my spooky artwork, which you will see in this wall behind me. Most of this is mine. There's only 2 pieces in here that aren't mine. Johnny's up here, and little skeleton guy up here, but I've had those pieces for a long time. But everything else, like, that's all my artwork, and you'll see a painting that I did that I finally completed last week, but I actually did a Instagram live video with my friend Jocelyn of @WickedBeautyArt. You should follow her on Instagram. I'll link her down below and right here. And we did a Instagram live, like, kind of spooky paint along, and our little prompt together was to paint a bat, and it was really fun. So she painted one in her style and I painted one in mine, and I'll actually do a little post after this, so you guys can see get to see the final product very, like, nicely. And I do incorporate that painting into my Halloween decor because it's very spooky, but I have a feeling I'm gonna keep that one up around until I make another. I have a idea for another big piece. But anyway, let's jump into the video. So we are gonna start off with, let's get all of our decorations together. Let's get the mood going, and you will see some DIYs. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Bye. Here we are gathering up all of my decor. I do have a lot of skulls, and I have a lot of jack-o'-lanterns and some soft decor, and that little yellow house right there is actually the house from the Sabrina Teenage Witch animated series, and that jack-o'-lantern is my Polish Potter jack-o'-lantern. Now I figured we start off in my witchy corner, getting the perfect aroma for decorating. So here is orange peel, lemongrass, and lavender. I used 2 to 3 drops of the orange peel and lemongrass and 3 to 4 drops of the lavender, and it's supposed to give this harmonious scent. I just think it smells really nice and kind of fall-like too, very relaxing. And of course, gotta light up my Himalayan salt lamp. Now, since this is my witchy corner, I gotta have a skeleton unicorn. And usually this is where I keep my yoga mats. And here is the wreath. I can't wait for you guys to see the tutorial. It was so simple to do. And yeah, I mean, I mostly used materials that I had, but you can easily get these materials. The wreath is from Dollar Tree, very easy to find in the garden section. The tulle I had for a couple years, but just use any 2 spools of tulle color that you like. I think black and white would be really cute, or black and orange. And just make sure you're cutting even strips. So for me, I'd have 3 strips tied on before I'd switch colors, because I figured that was the correct thickness, so you don't see the actual wood part underneath that well. I also used a big chunky yarn. I've had this black and white yarn for a long time, and I kind of use it here and there in different DIYs that I have. I don't necessarily knit with it, just because, I don't know, I think I like seeing it for decorations more. And I think it will look nicer than in a knit. But anyway, going back to getting this little tutu wreath going, I did, go all the way around, and I was noticing that the tulle was kind of long, and it was a little longer than I expected. It took me a minute to rethink it, and I decided to actually trim it down, and so you can actually see the little bats that I add on there. And those bats are really easy to find. You can get them pretty much anywhere. It's just like they'll come in like a big bulk bag with like other bugs or other like Halloween creatures. You can even just get a bunch of those like spider rings and stuff, and just cut off the backs and use those as little decor. And to make it a little bit more rock and roll, I added black glitter paint to like make it a little bit more edgy. I thought the tutu was a little too long, so I did trim it down with my pinking shears, and then I added that afterwards, and I was like, oh, okay. I wanted to look polished but edgy at the same time, and also add more glitter, because who doesn't need more glitter in their life? Now on to the living room. So first thing first, let's start by getting my couch all ready to go. So I am taking off my non-Halloween pillows or my non-neutral colors. I did keep my Led Zeppelin and my Dwight You Ignorant Slut pillow on there, just because the colors definitely go, and you know what, they are totally Halloween. They totally are. Especially Dwight You Ignorant Slut, because who doesn't freaking love The Office? But anyway, I put away any blankets that I wasn't using, and I put out my skull blanket that I do only keep out really for either guests or for Halloween. I added a cute little bat pillow that I got at Target last year, and I added my spider web pillow right there from At Home, and of course Led Zeppelin, and my little Halloween pillow from Kohl's. I got that one from 2 years ago, so I'm just trying to collect a little bit here at a time. But pillow's ready, and here is my center console for underneath my TV. I decided to decorate just the top section. I gotta make sure I don't put anything near my Xbox, but everything else, I had enough space to do a cool little scenery. And yes, I am watching Gilmore Girls. I definitely got addicted to it again because of fall season, and you know, I need a little something light and fall-y between my horror movies, so why not Gilmore Girls? It's definitely increased my addiction and cravings for coffee. But anyway, I added my candelabra, my skull, and of course my little Sabrina house. Afterwards, I did decide to add some skeleton hands and my little candle that I bought, or one of the candles I bought that I talked about in the intro. And I used a little black gauze as a little tablecloth or whatever for it. But yeah, after adding the little tablecloth, it really did add a little extra element. So got experimental with that. And here I am about to light up my jack-o'-lantern lamp. I've had this lamp since I was 7 years old, so I've had this thing for like 20 years. I don't plug it in that often, so I did keep it plugged in, and I'll turn off the light and stuff, but I'll only put it on here and there. And here is a super quick DIY. So with your leftover bats from your wreath, you can also get these little black cauldrons from Target for like $1.50. And I literally hot glued it on a strip of ribbon I had. And this was like the quickest DIY ever. And it made a little garland. So super easy, super simple, easy garland. And the first time I hung this up, some of the bats did fall down. So I just didn't have them reinforced that well. Or if you do have super glue or E6000, that would probably be a lot better. And here is something super simple. If you have those big witch cauldrons, take your big witch cauldron and you can turn it into a blanket bucket or blanket basket, however you call it. I'm calling it a blanket bucket because it's literally shoving a blanket in a bucket. But yeah, I thought this was a cute little addition. I didn't necessarily want it on my couch. I do use this blanket all the time, but you know, got to have a cute little witchy part in it. Still continued the decor going. And here is my other garland. So this garland I've had for a year. I bought it at Michael's last year before, or when it was clearanced, and I edited it out, but oh my god, I fell like a couple times and let the garland fall. And here is my coffee table. So my big book on my coffee table is a Harry Potter from book to film. It's so cool and in-depth, and I do have a little Harry Potter one there, and my little cauldron with flowers, and of course my little spiky pumpkin from Target. And here is the decorating for the top of my bookcase. So this is part of the many little random scrap pieces of fabric, of Halloween fabric I have. And usually I'd use it as a table runner, but I thought it looked pretty good on top of the bookcase as, you know, just a little background. So this is pretty much how the top of my bookcase normally looks. I have my grandpa's vintage cameras, and we have all these different pop figurines out. The only one that I did change out was I took down my Cusco one and I switched it out for Heifer from Rocco's Modern Life, since he's trick-or-treating. And he's perfect for Halloween. Oh, I just love him up there. And of course, my Harley Quinns. And especially, the Harley Quinn in the back. She's dressed up. And here are my skulls and Dracula and Bride of Frankenstein. Still kept my Futurama shrine up, but had my little fall flowers out and little skeleton dog. And here we are finally hanging up some artwork. So I decided to use one of those black gauzy fabrics. I had 2 left over, I guess, from a couple years ago that I never opened. And I thought this would be kind of cool to be like a little curtain for behind a painting. So I just figured out what kind of level I liked for it, and just figured out how I could dangle it. I did pin it a little high at first, and then I rearranged it, made sure it was nice and even on both sides, and it worked out. And the cool thing with this is because it's so gauzy, I could easily put like a real nail in the middle of it, behind it, for the actual painting itself. So I thought it came out really cool because it is like a little curtain for your painting. Now, more with the painting. So I don't want to give it away till you guys see it, but it is such a cute little bat. Like, me and my friend, we just had decided to do a prompt of a bat and draw or painted it in our own styles. And it was so much fun doing this live. And I think like we went for about 2 hours, and after we finished it, or we finished our video, like, we're like, oh, we'll just post it when we're done, and or send it to each other so you can see. And it didn't take too much longer to finish it up. I just had to clean up some edges. Oh, and of course, here's my little angel of death. I always got to hang him up. Now, this is going to be in my hallway. So anytime you are doing a gallery wall, please lay it out first. Always lay it out first, just to see how everything goes. And I also recommend starting with hanging up your center pictures. So I had a different plan for this when I was decorating my apartment initially, and I still probably will do it, but I haven't been able to work on it. I don't know. I just need to focus on it and work on it. But I thought this would be kind of cool for a little bit, and especially for at least the Halloween season. And I will probably likely keep most of this up. But yeah, these are just a bunch of spooky themed art pieces. Most of them are my pieces, except for the Johnny Depp, like as Barnabas from Dark Shadows. I did the little pink pumpkin up there in the middle back in May for a drawing prompt. And the skull, that I actually drew that to be put in my bedroom, but I didn't like how it was with my other pictures, or I had a better picture that I liked more for it. And yeah, and I think it looks really cool in here. And then the little vampire mouth down there is actually a print of one of my drawings. I just wanted it I wanted that particular size. I have the original still, but I just want to have that particular size, and I thought it worked really nicely there. And then the one that I'm currently hanging up is one of my favorites. I did it for Friday the 13th, and it says, "We'll always have Camp Crystal Lake." I do have Valentine's Day cards available of this one, so if you are interested in that, please let me know. I will be putting those back on my Etsy. I just think they're really fun. I mean, like, I know Valentine's Day isn't for a while, but you can also just save it for like an anniversary, or you could send it for a Halloween card, because you do get Halloween cards out there. Oh man, I'm just happy with how this came out, and it's really important to map it out. And lastly, this was kind of the one that took me longer to do. Well, not actually like decorating wise, it took me longer to actually just do it because I had to clean my dining room table off, and I don't know about you, but that's kind of my catch-all place. So that took me a while to get doing. But I decided to put a little bit of black fabric underneath in the center just because with the fabric that I'm going to use as the tablecloth, it just shifts around so much because it is, I guess, yeah, it is more tool based. So, it's just, you know, I didn't want it to be like shifting and moving around too much because I did want to put candles on here. And my jack-o'-lantern that I'm putting on here is Polish pottery and very important and precious to me. I want to keep that around forever. So I wanted to add that extra like reinforcement. Now this is the fun part. So most of the time people will put like a tea light underneath a pumpkin or like those LED ones. I decided to wad up my fairy. I have like several strings of fairy lights. I decided to wad it up and shove it underneath the pumpkin. And the cool thing with this one is that it does have a remote, so I can like click it on and click it off very easily without having to like, you know, redo the pumpkin or anything like that. Oh, and one thing I wanted to notate, I did decorate my house over several days. I meant to say this in the intro. I did decorate my house over several days, so you will see multiple outfit changes. Yeah, that is one thing. I did do this over a couple of days and kind of did it in spurts and stuff, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. And here I'm just adding my little skull candles and just setting the proper Halloween mood.